Okay, I'm going to show you how to put a padded sole onto a knitted bootie. And I'm going to be using hot glue, and I'm going to be using the quilting kind of polyfill that's kind of set in sheets. Makes it a little easier. I'm also going to be using some flannel or fleece fabric, and then I'm also going to be using a fake suede, or you can use leather, it doesn't matter, you can use real stuff. I'm going to be using fake stuff. And how I'm doing it is I'm making this special for a person, and I traced out their foot. You can see the trace marks there. I smoothed out the lines and I cut it out. So this is the foot mold. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'll see me and how I go in and make my booties custom fit to the foot mold. So once I've done that, I went in and I made a more solid foot mold. I can slip in and help myself glue the padding on the bootie. And so what I did was I took 4 pieces of a thick, stiff cardboard and traced this out. And I cut them out and I glued them on top of each other. And then I taped around the edges, and then I taped the center to smooth it out. And that makes it easy to slip in and out. And this is a great way to put soles on to booties. And I'll show you kind of what I've done. Underneath this, as you can kind of see, is where the padding is, because it's a little smaller. And the inside is where I've glued in the flannel or fleece fabric. And the reason why I glue it on the inside is because when you glue on your sole, there's glue that comes through the holes, and so adding that softens the sole up for the person to walk on. So here's how I do it. Going back to my traced up mold again, what I've done is I've cut out my sole. And if you don't want to do all this padding, you can just glue the sole on. But I cut it a little bigger than the actual mold. Not much, a little bigger. Allow for the foot to be able to roll around. And then for the actual padding, I cut it smaller than the mold. Okay, as you can see here, it's cut smaller. And then the inside, where you use the fleece or flannel, I cut it exactly to the mold, as you can see here. Okay, so the inside insert is exact. The actual padding is smaller than the insert, and the actual bottom is wider than the mold. By a little bit. You can do more than that if you'd like, but I don't do much wider than the mold. Okay, and this is like my pattern. So this is what I've done. I've cut out, and what I like to do is on stuff like this, I have it folded in half, and so when I go to cut out, I have both halves when I'm done. So I have the left and the right foot. That's another suggestion, and it works good for your inside fleece or flannel piece. Okay, so giving you a basic on everything, I'm going to start off by gluing the actual sole on. And so I need to see which foot I'm doing next. And it looks like I'm doing the left foot. So I need to make sure this goes in left. And it should fit in there right exactly as you see mine does. You see there's my heel mark there. What I'm going to do is take my hot glue gun. I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to just do a light glue application down the center. Okay. And then I'm going to take this padding and I'm going to put it down as much to the middle as possible. I'll be ready to add the top layer. And so what I'm going to do now is apply another quick layer of hot glue to the middle. And then I'm going to place it as much as I can. And so I'm kind of making sure that it's lined up as best I can. And once I have it lined up as best I can, I smash it as flat. And that gets the layer started. So it should look something like this. Now our goal is to go in and smooth it down around, as you can see here. So what I like to do is I like to apply glue on the sides. And then take and start to smash. It down. And you're just going to hold it and let the glue get tacky. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the other side and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing. You're just going to apply glue to the padding. Then I'm going to go in and smash it flat. And just smash it until it gets tacky. You might have to go over sections again because the padding has evened up with the sole. Now we're going to start applying glue to the front bits. And here's where I'm going to start trying to apply some directly to the actual leather, fake leather, whatever you're using, and start smashing that flat. Once you get all four sections, the sides and the ends, then you go in and you start doing touching areas to get it all nice and smooth. So that's smashing pretty flat. Now let's go to the heel. And smash it flat. And you can see you have a sole forming. At this point you're going to want to start going in and you'll see there's a gap there and you'll want to start adding a little glue and closing those gaps in. Okay, and there is your bottom. Now once you've done that, you'll want to make sure that glue's dry all the way around. Once you do that, then you're going to pull this out. Then you're going to flip this inside out. Now if you want to put a harder bottom on, then I would suggest doing the inside first, then the outside. Okay, so I flipped it out. Then I'm going to take and put the reverse in. So if you're doing the left foot, then you're going to flip it over and put it in like you're doing a right foot, because you flipped it inside out. Okay. And then shove that in place. Okay. And I like to glue my end down. And then I do a light addition of glue down the middle just to get my insert set in. And I need it to be facing the right direction. And I put it on there nice and easy. Okay, you can see how I did that. And then what I like to do is just go in and lightly tack. I don't have to get it so tacked down perfectly. You just don't want it to move on the inside much, so I just do a light tack down on the inside so that when you take it on and off it doesn't come out. But on the outside it's important to tack it down completely, because you don't want it coming up when the person's walking. And then you'll want to kind of feel around and make sure there's no spots sticking out of the glue that'll make it stiff feeling. And sometimes you can snip those areas out, but I don't feel any on this one. So now that that's dry, or pretty much taken care of, we're going to flip it right side out again, and then you're done. That is how you do a padded sole for a bootie. Now, what you can do is you can completely remove the padding. You can cut the sole out a little bigger than the mold, and you can just glue it on and then add the fleece insert inside, and you can do that instead. But yeah, that's how you go about adding a sole so that they last longer to the bottom of booties.